Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
Thank you for being an awesome pledgehammer on Patreon, The Rocket, Dan Van Sky. NXT invades again and kind of look like chumps. Daniel Bryan versus The Fiend is made official, and there are 17 million video packages and recaps in one show. I am Chopper Pete Quinnell. Give us a like and a subscribe, and press the eye above my head letting us know what you thought of the show, where you can choose from Smacknificent, Smacktastic, Smack Bang in the Middle, Smackdowner, and a smack in the face. This is the November 15th, 2019 episode of Friday Night SmackDown in about 4 minutes. The show opened with the first video recap of the night, highlighting King Corbin's god-awful promo and the closing match where Rude and Ziggler aligned with him from last week. After that, King Corbin made his entrance, which admittedly was pretty cool, as he had people carry him to the ring on a sedan chair palanquin thing, but that's about where the coolness stopped. Rude and Ziggler were already in the ring, and Corbin cut another lengthy promo, declaring himself team captain for Team SmackDown at Survivor Series, and Rude and Ziggler piped in to say they should have been on Team SmackDown, and they're gonna beat Shorty G and Ali. King Corbin then calls out Roman Reigns, and out comes a dog mascot, complete with a remixed version of his theme song. It has Chihuahua barks in it. The mascot does the ooh-ah thing, and then Corbin makes it do some tricks in the ring. It's such good shit! This led into the tag match between Rude and Ziggler and Shorty G and Mustafa Ali, who's got his first name back. This was a fun in-ring match with lots of close calls on both sides. Roman came out midway through the match, right before an ad break, but didn't get involved until the finish, allowing Ali to pick up the victory with a 450. Next, we got a video recap of The Fiend attacking Daniel Bryan last week, before a very brief Firefly Funhouse where Bray changes the Universal Championship to blue. We then get a video recap of the tag match that just happened that opened the show. Okay, sure, fine. Which led into a backstage segment with Corbin and his lackeys, with them saying they should still be on Team SmackDown, and Corbin saying he's going to fix it. We get yet another video recap of Tyson Fury and Braun Strowman suddenly becoming best friends from last week, before Braun comes down and annihilates Drew Gulak and the B-Team. The New Day cuts a promo from Gorilla Position next, saying they're going to retain their titles against the Revival, so much for no automatic rematches. And then Daniel Bryan is backstage, and he's intercepted by Sami Zayn, who asks once and for all, "Will you join us, Daniel?" Daniel says no, and then Braun Strowman would be better for him, and then he walks off, and then suddenly Braun Strowman's there, and then Sami walks off. And that was the payoff to this really good storyline you've been telling for weeks. Come on, guys. The Revival versus New Day was a really great in-ring match, with both teams looking like they could win on several occasions. Big E was hit with a shatter machine, with Kofi saving the match with a dive. But just as the match was reaching its high point, the Undisputed Era came out and beat down both teams, standing tall in the ring. This brought out other assorted members of the SmackDown roster to chase them off. After an ad break, we get a video recap of the Undisputed Era interference that just happened. Why? Heavy Machinery are still in the ring, and they squash some local talent. Cool. Then we get more video recaps, covering Shayna Baszler and Bayley's run-ins on their various shows, before a backstage promo with Bayley and Sasha Banks. Nicky Cross then makes her entrance for her match, before we get a video package about the WrestleMania 36 on-sale ticket party, and then we get another video recap of the opening tag match. Bayley versus Nicky Cross barely gets underway when Shayna Baszler comes out and gets into the ring. Bayley then runs away into the crowd, before a bunch of other NXT stars appear behind her, including Rhea Ripley, who's had beef with Baszler, Tegan Nox, who's had beef with Baszler, Mia Yim, who's had beef with Baszler, and Dakota Kai, who's had beef with Baszler. Basically, they all hate Baszler, and they're here backing her up on SmackDown. I hate that brand supremacy comes before emotional storylines. This leads to a big brawl, and a 4-on-4 match is made between the NXT lasses and Sasha Banks, Nicky Cross, Dana Brooke, and Carmella. Remember when Sasha Banks and Nicky Cross were feuding? Back from an ad break, everyone hits their big moves, which eventually leads to Nicky Cross hitting her neckbreaker from out of nowhere to Dakota Kai for the win. NXT then tries to beat down people after the bell, but SmackDown sends them packing. NXT lost and then ran away. NXT's the cool brand, guys. Promise. Finally, we get Miz TV with Daniel Bryan as the special guest. But first, it's time for another video recap of the Fiend's attack from last week that we already saw earlier in the show. Miz asks Bryan why he thinks the Fiend attacked him, before giving his own answer, saying he can tell that Bryan is mentally unstable, and he doesn't know who he is, but more than that, he's washed up. Bryan responds by saying, yeah, he's mentally unstable, but he has passion. The passion that led him to all the greatest things he's done in his career, including kicking someone in the balls to win the WWE Championship. No one understands his mental instability, but Bray does. This summons Bray, who appears on the Titantron and cuts a really nice promo, taunting Bryan with the Universal Championship in order to have a match with him, bringing the championship out of a toy box. Bryan says no to a fight, and then says they should fight at Survivor Series for the Universal Championship, which I thought is what Bray was asking for anyway, but okay. Bray then really creepily says yes about 17,000 times. It cuts back to the ring and Bryan says off mic, "Are we done?" And Miz awkwardly says, "There you have it, it's Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt at Survivor Series for the Universal Championship." I think someone might have missed their cue. Bryan walks away and that's how the show ends. This was a pretty mediocre episode of SmackDown. The in-ring action, as always, is really good, but it's so hard to get emotionally invested in anything when you have ridiculous characters like Corbin and his mascot dog cutting terrible promos. The payoff to the Sami Bryan feud was incredibly underwhelming, NXT looked like chumps once again, but the Bryan Bray stuff was pretty good, which just about bumps this episode up to a low smack bang in the middle. As a quick note, if you want to see myself and my lady partner play Pokemon Sword and Shield, we're streaming today, tomorrow, and Monday on twitch.tv/Screenstalker. And the first highlight video from our streams yesterday will be going up on Screenstalker's YouTube channel today. Drop us a follow and watch me use Shorty G the Grookey. Is a top tag team quitting WWE? Press the video to the right to find out more, and the video below that to find out about CM Punk declining a big money offer from AEW. A special thank you to our pledge hammers on Patreon, some of whom you can see scrolling below me right now. I've been Chubba Pete Quinnell, and that was wrestling.